welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jem, and today I'm here with Topaz. Say hi, Topaz.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about queer representation in media. So me and Topaz both have like lists of shows, movies, books, stuff like that with queer characters. And we're just going to be talking about them. So I kind of wanted to just start with a mediocre representation, or what I thought was mediocre representation. Apparently Topaz disagrees with me.
If you say, but I'm a cheerleader, judge me.
My first one I'm talking about is, but I'm a cheerleader.
Screw you, Jem. Screw you.
So I personally love that movie. I love that movie so much. It was pretty good. And it was, I'm gonna give it credit. It was a really important piece of media to come out at the time, because not a lot of queer films were coming out at the time, and that was a fully queer film. But at the same time, it's the plot of it is just kind of, I don't know, stereotypical, kind of strange, almost fetishizing to a point. Just before I keep going, full spoilers for any of these pieces of media. This is the one we're starting with.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the stereotypes in But I'm a Cheerleader were literally made for two reasons. One, to show that it's the exact opposite. People like the girl in But I'm a Cheerleader is the opposite of the stereotype you think of. The girl that starts.
Yeah.
And I think the whole point was to show it subverts expectations. Not everyone who's queer is a complete stereotype. And two, it added humor, and this was in the early 2000s. We have to remember times were a lot different.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the what was I going to say? It's a very 2000s film. It's
Mean Girls. Like, there's offensive things in Mean Girls, but we still think it's a great movie for its time.
Which is very fair. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it could have been better, but it is definitely one of the better pieces of media.
For me, it's top tier. Whatever the top tier is, I loved But I'm a Cheerleader. For me, it's personal top tier.
Yeah, I do love that movie. It just didn't quite fit with my good representations once. It's like it wasn't the peak level that the rest were, because the rest were just so good. Well, not all the rest. I have some bad and other stuff.
Also, Jem, I've read the Heartstopper books, and I know we're talking about Heartstopper the show. You don't care if I spoil the books, because what happens in the books might be in season 2. You don't care, do you?
No, wait, this is a full spoilers. We'll get
I just don't want you to feel bad if I spoil what's going to happen in Heartstopper season 2, since I know you really like that show.
Yeah, I'm used to getting spoiled. It's fine.
Okay, what's up next, Jem?
So we have Love, Simon. Not Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Very different. Love, Simon is the movie. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is the book. I'm not going to talk about the book, but I really like the book. It's better than the movie.
I've not seen the movie, but
have you read the book?
No, but I like the actor. That's all I know so far.
I like the movie, but it's very, I don't know how to explain it. It's just not exactly what you'd want in this movie. Sorry, my cat is distracting me. It's, I don't know. It was kind of weird. Some of the plot lines, like, these didn't happen in the books, but like his best friend, who is a girl, has a crush on him and is all disappointed that he's gay, and I'm just like, did you really need to put that in there?
Literally just Glee. That is Glee. That is a Glee trope. I've not even seen Glee, but I know that's a Glee trope.
Okay, but it was funny in Glee. It was funnier in Glee than in this. It was just like the way it was portrayed in this. It was like, oh, feel bad for this best friend. She's a victim here. He was leading her on.
Victim, but you're allowed to feel bad for her.
Yeah, but the way it portrayed it was almost like he did something wrong by not having feelings for her, and she's all mopey about it. It was weird.
Me.
It was weird. Me. What?
I said like, woe is me. It was kind of that vibe.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, and it was just a straight love story replaced with guys, which I don't know. But then they kept adding like weird things to make it gay, but at the same time, it's just like, that's kind of stereotypical of the queer experience.
That's kind of what Heartstopper felt like to me. A straight love story, but make it gay. That's low-key what it felt like. And I'm saying that as someone who likes the books.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that in Heartstopper, but I feel like it's even worse in Love, Simon.
Also, a lot of gay relationships kind of just are straight with two guys. Like some queer relationships genuinely just present kind of like that.
I get that, and my issue with it is that they add other plot lines to make it queer. Like,
yeah, that's
like they added a musical number. I think if I'm remembering this movie correctly, they added a musical number.
That reminds me of the prom when they had Barry.
Why didn't I add the prom to this list? Well, we'll talk about the prom. I forgot to add it to my list. I don't have
the prom's on my list, so we're gonna talk about it anyway.
Okay, good. I think
I didn't write a list, but I had like something in my mind.
Okay, good, because I forgot that. I'm done with mediocre media. Do you have anything for mediocre?
Heartstopper Volume 1 and 2 was mediocre.
Okay.
The books, there were 2 volumes. Heartstopper 1 and 2 to me were just, it was literally just fluff from, like, it did not really have much of a substantial hits you in your feelings plot like Volume 3 did when it covered Charlie's eating disorder. And really, I felt like the characters were not fleshed out in Heartstopper 1 and 2. They only existed together and not as much separately. The closest we got to that character development was with Charlie's abusive ex. So to me, I felt like it was not fleshed out, but it does redeem itself. But that's something I consider mediocre, mainly because the plot fleshed them together in a relationship instead of 2 people separately forming a relationship to me. I found that mediocre.
That's valid. I personally like fluffy things that are just kind of cutesy. But I get if you're looking for something more substantial and yeah, you want more substantial characters. I personally kind of like the fluffy relationships, but that's just me.
I'd be fine with the fluff and not consider it mediocre if it was also they were 2 separate people. But that's Charlie and Nick, like in the first little bit, besides Nick, they kind of share the same personality at first. They do everything together after they get together. It feels like they're both the same kind of one relationship character instead of 2 separate characters in a relationship.
That's valid.
Like you can be a good fluff and still have 2 distinct characters.
Mm-hmm. That's valid.
But I get what you're saying. You're valid too, fam.
Any other pieces of media in your mediocre, or is that it?
That's about it.
Okay,
I think.
So then I have a question to. Oh,
I was about to say Riverdale, but I'm putting that in good or like a little above mediocre.
I would put that in bad personally, but you go.
I mean, to me, like, I don't have that high of standards. Like, there's a queer relationship where I felt like it was kind of represented. They had a realistic one. They were both separate people, and it was like they faced real struggles in that relationship. Valid. It felt like the only queer relationship felt realistic. I'm not saying the show is good. I'm saying that one representation is good.
That's different. Okay, yeah, I don't like the show, but that yeah, the relationship.
Oh
itself.
no, the show's horribly cringe. I'm just saying the relationship within the show is not bad. I would put
Okay.
it in good tier.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. Okay. So then I have a question to ponder about these mediocre pieces of media, and that's how can we give credit for a good attempt at inclusivity while also pointing out the flaws? Like, how can we do that respectfully as a community?
I feel like this podcast is a really good example.
Yeah, just kind of being kind, saying, I understand why you think that and why other people might disagree, but also saying, but I would personally prefer this more.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like we're doing here. Yeah.
And it's like, they're never going to win, producers, because there's always going to be something someone thinks there could have been more representation, less representation. This relationship could have been different. Like, you love the dynamic between Charlie and Nick and Heartstopper. I personally felt like that it felt like two of the same characters. Like, that's something we disagree on, but we both agree it's representation. And like, though we both may disagree, that's a mixed message to the producer. The best thing we can do is both state our opinions respectfully, give our viewpoints and reasons, and then let the producer, the director, the one who has that artistic vision, decide where to go from there. And at the end of the day, I feel like we shouldn't judge it ever too hard unless it's like blatantly homophobic or transphobic, because the author has a vision for their piece. And we don't want to like mess up their vision, because I know how much a story can mean to some people.
Okay. Yeah,
that's just
yes, that is perfectly well said.
I love what you said too.
Okay. So now moving on to bad representation. I have the movie, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. I watched it with my family. No offense to any religion whatsoever. This movie was a Christian movie.
Is it the one you were telling me about the other night?
Yes. So this isn't against Christians in general. This is just this movie. So the plot line of the romance goes, he meets this girl, and she's like, "Hey, yo, don't hit on me. I'm a lesbian." And so there's this whole thing where he has powers bestowed to him by God, and
my God,
he and he can heal people. But he doesn't like believe in that, and he doesn't believe in himself. But then this little girl with cancer comes along and is like, and is trying to get healed by him, or her parents are trying to get her healed. But anyways, she goes to the guy like, "Oh, my sister's a lesbian. That's not how lesbians act. She's not a lesbian." And this whole movie, Nina's parents are like thinking, this better not be like he converts her, like, because we thought that was the way it was about to be going. And she's just like, "Yeah, that's not how a lesbian acts, and I know because my sister's a lesbian." In the end,
we just took the child with cancer's word for it.
Yeah, so in the end, she's like, "Yo, I wasn't a lesbian. I was just faking it so you'd stop hitting on me." And then they get together. And then the little girl's like, "Yeah, my sister's not even a lesbian." So there were no lesbians in this movie. And it was, this is exactly what not to do.
Yeah, just don't do that. Like, take everything I said about artistic vision back. Don't do that. Like, whatever you do, I don't care if it ruins your artistic vision. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't. That's the epitome of just don't do that. That's the worst you can do. Do you have any bad pieces of media you'd like to talk about?
Dun dun no 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 no. No, I was doing the Jeopardy theme song.
Yes, I know. I watch Jeopardy far more than you do. Trust me.
How dare you insult my Jeopardy knowledge?
I watch it every night.
Don't step to the wizard. I am a whiz at Jeopardy. As I was saying, for bad representation, I don't really have anything that comes to mind. Really, any show with an ounce of queer representation, as long as it's not horribly like done like homophobic or transphobic, I think I see is fine.
What I put is just movies that are stereotypical, like too stereotypical. All the queer characters are just this singular stereotype, and it's those kind of pieces of media. I don't have any examples because I didn't think of any, but yeah.
Personally, I don't think it's bad representation. I liked it, Mean Girls, but it sounds like you might think it's bad representation because Damien was a stereotype.
I mean, he was all right because it was kind of for it's more mediocre. It wasn't bad by any means. It wasn't horrible, but things that was kind of pushing it to the stereotypical side. But I mean, even more like
it was 2002.
Yeah,
in the movie's defense.
Yeah, that's all we have. But my question for this was, what can we do to diminish stereotyping in Hollywood?
There are two ways we can go about it.
Mm-hmm.
One, if people really want to put stereotypes in their movies, have one character like subvert it, kind of like in Like a Cheerleader, how the main character was not a stereotype, but a lot of others were. Kind of making fun of people who say this can be a stereotype. Or you can just write if you really have to put a stereotype in your movie, if you really have to, like if that's your vision, make the character well-rounded. Like don't make it just the stereotype, make sure it's a fully well-rounded character, because even if it has those stereotypical traits, you're seeing that as a person and not a caricature. And I feel like that makes it more respectful, because sometimes people are going to want to do that for humor, and whether we think that's okay or not, it's not going to be stopped. So I think the best we can do is kind of diminish it.
That's very valid. My thoughts were just kind of keep calling out the stereotypes. Don't just be okay with it. Kind of call them out.
I get that, wanting to call it out sometimes.
Yeah, just continue speaking your mind, continue talking about what you'd like to be improved, and then eventually, hopefully, someone will listen.
Maybe.
Sorry. My cat
depends
keeps
on how much money they
have. That's valid. Yeah. My cat keeps distracting me. He's very handsome. Moving on.
Is it Archie? Archie
Yes.
or Whiskey?
Archie.
We stand.
Okay.
So, is the good or great category next?
Nope. I have one more. I wanted to save good for last. So right now I have
queer baiting. I knew it.
So I have lack of queer baiting. Yep. I have a few of them. First up, Voltron. The epitome.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it's the epitome of queer baiting. Someone called queer baiting getting clanced once to me. So
what the hell, Jen? What the hell?
Voltron, right, is this show. Very big spoilers for the romance aspects of this. So there are these two characters. Okay, I'll talk about these three characters. There's Allura, Keith, and Lance. So you don't have to ship Clance or anything to agree with this. You don't have to ship it to agree with this at all. I am just speaking what was shown in the show and what it would lead you to believe. So Lance is like this flirty guy, and he is always flirting with Allura, and she's always like, no, I don't like you. So nobody thought they were actually going to end up in the end together, because they're just kind of like, no, she wouldn't do that. And it seemed like he was moving on and becoming friendlier with Keith. These guys were always kind of at it, rivals, but they had a lot of chemistry. And then eventually later on in the show, there's even this episode where they all got stuck in this game show. It wasn't real. It was all in their heads, but they were in this game show. And at the end of the game show, they all got to decide who went home. right? Or who they wanted to leave this place because they were going to be stuck there forever. And
Could
you
only a
think
certain number go home?
only one of them gets to go home, right?
Okay.
And you think Lance, he's in love with Alora, right? He's going to pick Alora. Guess what? He picks Keith. And Keith picks him.
Aww.
And yeah, very cute, right? You'd think, so they're realizing they have feelings for each other. No. And the last season, Alora and Lance end up together. And
They could just be besties.
But no, they're not. They're always at each other's throats. That's the whole fun of it.
I'm a bitch to a lot of my best friends. I'm like a bitch and I would choose them to be saved sometimes. Like, if you're really bestie with someone, I get it.
Yeah, the thing is, it was a lot of stuff leading up to it. But in the last season, Alora and Lance get together. And the thing is, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard online that it switched directors or producers or something like someone in charge was switched, so the original person had them planned to get together and then they switched over and the next person was like, nah.
Was this show made in Japan? Because I think it's an anime, right?
No, it's not an anime. It was not made in Japan.
Where was it made?
I'm not sure. I think in the US.
If it was made in the US, that's different. But if it was made in Japan, Japan is still very behind.
Oh, yeah, I get that. It's supposed to be in like an anime, but it's not. And it's not like there isn't any queer representation. Shiro's like the dad figure. He originally was engaged to someone, but then he left to go to space and got stuck in space for years, and the person he was engaged to died. While he was up in space. And then at the end, there's like an end scene where it shows everyone's futures and he gets married to a guy. So Shiro is canonically gay, but they're just like, one gay person's good enough.
I mean, better than nothing. But I think I would get it more if I had seen the show.
Yes, it was very queerbaity and the fandom was so mad about it. I remember when that season came out, there was like a petition to remake the season because everyone was so mad with that season. It was bad. The last season was bad. It was also the plot lines of 3 different seasons pushed down into one because they had to cut the amount of seasons short. I think it was 3. I don't know. It was a lot.
Maybe they were like planned to break up and then he would have gotten together with Keith if it wouldn't have got canceled or something. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it was still originally planned.
I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't good. So that is the worst of the queerbaity. But I have 2 more. So next I have Harry Potter.
I mean, technically it's not baiting. J.K. Rowling like changed half of everything, like made Dumbledore on Twitter. She announced everything on Twitter, how everyone's like she made it queer after the fact.
Gay people she announced were Dumbledore, Grindelwald, Dean, and Seamus. And I see Dean and Seamus. That's cute. Dumbledore and Grindelwald. You put them. Those 2 are your canon queer relationship. That's bad. That's really.
Why
there were so many cute queer couples, and you put Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Grindelwald was the original evil wizard.
I don't remember that.
He is the original bad guy. He was before Voldemort. He was the original evil guy who was horrible. He was awful. Dumbledore and Grindelwald would have been in the most abusive relationship. It would have been really bad if they were together. It was no. I have also not seen the most recent Fantastic Beasts. I don't know if anything about that's in it. I haven't seen it yet.
Hated Fantastic Beast.
I mean, I liked it, but now that Johnny Depp's not in the latest one, I'll just be like, eh.
Why isn't Johnny Depp in it?
Haven't you seen the trials?
Yeah, but wasn't he like found not guilty? Why isn't he in the movie?
It was before that. That's
sad.
Yeah, but anyways, Johnny Depp's not in it, so that's sad. Yeah, So that was the worst relationship. And I'm always seeing this stuff like talking about people shipping that versus Wolfstar, and I'm just like, which one of these is canon? Because one of these is a lot nicer than the other. One is very awful. So there's two relationships that I feel were queerbaiting. First, Wolfstar. I love them.
I don't remember Wolfstar.
So that is Remus Lupin and Sirius Black, Harry's godfather and his third-year Defense Against the Dark Arts professor.
I only saw the first 3 movies.
Well, they were in it. They were like very important to the third one.
I remember Sirius and Remus.
Yeah. So they should have been together. Yeah, it was very I don't even know how to explain it. It was very, very queerbaity. A lot of the stuff, like the way Remus reacted when he found out Sirius was innocent, all this stuff, it was just that should have been a good queer relationship. If you're gonna do a queer relationship, make that the queer relationship. That's not even the worst one. The worst one, the most queerbaity one, is Scorbus from The Cursed Child, which is based on Harry's children. For context, it's not a book, it's a play. But you can buy the script and read the script. So they should have been together. That's for context. Scorpius is Draco Malfoy's son. Albus is Harry's son. So the whole plot of it is them time traveling together to when Harry was in school. And at one point, they go back in time and mess up the timeline so bad that Voldemort was like in charge and Harry was dead. So therefore Albus was dead because he never existed because his dad died.
Damn.
So Scorpius had to fix this on his own. And at this point in as I was saying about Scorbus, so they go he's trying to fix the timeline and he ends up going to Snape. And this is what makes it the most queerbaity thing ever, right? So Snape is like, I see how important this guy is to you. He's your best friend. It reminds me of how I was with Lily Evans. You know what Snape and Lily's relationship was like? He was so in love with her that he dedicated his entire life after she died to saving her son because he was so in love with her.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah, no, he's jackass. Don't like him.
I don't like Snape, but it's sweet that he did that.
It was kind of creepy, but okay.
If it was a consensual relationship and her son was gonna die.
She hated him. He called her slurs.
I've not seen these movies in since I was 10, so 5 years.
Oh, she hated him. He at the end because he called her slurs. Like they were best friends for a while until he started being a jackass. But anyways, he was very in love with her. So like if you think about it, it's like, yeah, Scorpius, I can see how in love you are with Albus is pretty much what he's saying. And then you know what happens at the end?
What?
After everything goes back to normal, everything's good. So at the beginning, it was always funny because Scorpius had a crush on Albus's cousin, and was like pining after her, but she hated him.
Sounds about right.
Instead of them getting together in the end, like Albus and Scorpius, like them getting together and it being cute, Scorpius goes up to his cousin and is like, "Hey, go on a date with me." That's the ending of the relationship. She says no, but still, it's just like you compare it to like this guy who is in love with this woman for 20 years. And it's maybe besties.
Maybe J.K. Rowling wanted to do a sequel. And that was like a setup for them getting together. It just never happened.
Plays don't do sequels usually. I don't think I've ever seen a play with a sequel.
Some do. I've heard of it happening.
Okay. Well, didn't. It was no, and it wasn't. I don't think she ever planned on having them get together. Um, it was awful. Um, anyways, I'm done ranting about that. Now we get to my last queer
Wait,
baiting
I
show.
had something to say about this.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that I know I put this in like the good above mediocre category, Riverdale, but there was one relationship in it that was so queer baity.
What?
What was her name? Betty Cooper and what was this girl's name? It was like the rich kid's daughter. Veronica.
Yeah,
It was
Ronnie.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Ronnie. Thank you. They
Yeah.
literally made out in
No.
the first episode. And then just besties. Just besties.
Polyamory.
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 And then they had to make out again, didn't they?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like they made a whole joke about it. Like everyone here has kissed each other except them.
Yeah, they the four of them. Polyamory.
Yes. Anyway, that was a queer baity thing, but it was more funny. I don't really care. I don't see it as bad or anything. I just thought that was queer baity. It actually had a really nice relationship with the girl who used to be a sniper thingy. The snake thingy, the serpent. Stupid. I've not seen this show in like forever. But
Yeah.
the girl who was a serpent who had a pink streak in her hair, who was in My Babysitter's a Vampire, that actor. Tony, thank you. I appreciate you, Jim. Tony and redhead girl. They were really good together.
Cheryl.
Yeah, dead brother girl.
Cheryl,
thank you.
Yeah, they're cute. I used to role play as Cheryl. Role play. That was a weird role play though, because I think I ended up in the hospital.
Why did you end up in the hospital?
No, never mind. Tony ended up in the hospital.
How did you end up in the hospital from cosplaying someone?
No, the character did. Anyways, my last one on lack of, this is the one you're gonna plug your ears for. Stranger Things. Plug your
Gotta
ears.
plug my ears to prevent spoilers. Woo!
I will give you.
Let me mute myself.
Okay.
So you can't hear me going la 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 la.
Okay. So I'm trying to be quick with this, but the whole Will should have been gay, and my sister says that he will be in the next season, but honestly with shows like that I don't have much hope. Like switch things in the past, I hope he's gay in the next season, otherwise it'll be very queer baity. He was definitely in love with Mike, and I was very disappointed. There was like a perfect time for him to come out to Jonathan too, and then he didn't, and I don't know. He's definitely in love with Mike, and he's gay. I hope he gets. I hope he isn't in the next season. Or I hope he comes out in the next season. Let me try and get Topaz back.
Am I good to come back?
Yeah. Do you like my way of getting you back?
That was smart.
Anyway.
My ear. I held my ear too tight, and now I cannot hear out of one of my ears. It like, you know that feeling when you get water in your ear and it like kind of closes off?
Yeah.
It's that now. That this is mildly uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's not your fault. Oh, let me just pull on my. I'm fixing it. I'm snapping something.
Okay.
That's better.
Well, do you have anything? Do you have anything else for the queer baity stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then my question for this is, what can we do to make producers and directors and all that follow through on their promises of inclusivity? Like when they nothing, we can't do anything. That's very
we cannot choose not to support the next season or choose not to support the show, but at the end of the day there's literally nothing you can do during production before you know what it's gonna be.
That's valid.
Make them keep that promise. There's nothing we can do. If they don't want to, they aren't going to. We can like not support the next thing and hope they will like not continue to make the show due to lack of funding. But if they are dead set on not making representation that they're gonna bait with, there's nothing we can do until we watch the show. And at that point, we've already given them money.
Yeah, that's fair. That's Very fair.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I came up with these questions 5 minutes before the podcast, okay?
We stand. We stand.
So now I guess we're on to the good representation. Let's take turns with this because I know we both have a lot. I'll start. But then you can go. My first one is She-Ra. So I'm gonna start with the good about it because I do have a little tiny bit of criticism, but overall it's awesome. First, Spinnerella and Natasha. Holy shit, they're cute. They were very cute. At first, I thought they were really close friends because of the way shows were. I'm like, oh, they act like such lesbians, but I bet they're just really close friends. And then she just goes, my wife, and I'm like, what? Okay, not friends. They're really cute. I love them.
Crumble has joined the party.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
Archie's over here licking his butt. So but then next is Catra and Adora. Little tiny bit of criticism. It kind of comes off as a little bit of a toxic relationship because they were fighting for so long, but at the same time, they always had chemistry. Everyone would have been pissed if they didn't get together. They should have gotten together. Very cute. They're also the main characters. So that's nice to have like a non-romance show. It's not about queer people. Have the main character be queer. Love that.
We stand. I've not seen all of She-Ra, so
anything to add about She-Ra?
Adora is hot.
Yeah, I'm personally an Adora cosplayer, so I freaking love Adora. Catra's hot.
Of course.
Have you seen the picture? Have you seen the pictures of Catra in a suit?
No.
I will send them to you. She is very attractive.
Is that when they were at like the crystal ball thing with like the 10-year-old queen?
Yeah.
I saw the episode. I do not distinctly remember her in a suit though.
She was in a suit and it was very hot.
It was in season 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So my show is, I'm gonna say 2 real fast because I can't really say, we cannot really discuss much about the book because I don't think you've read it. Cinderella is dead. It was a dystopian about 200 years after Cinderella has died. If you don't get picked by Prince of the Ball, you get murdered, yada yada da. It was a really good queer representation book without it being too romancy and focusing on the plot. And my second actual show is Auntie Mac. Do you remember Auntie Mac?
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that. Oh, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time anyone in Disney history said, I'm gay.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I loved it. I like how they kept it so kid friendly, but also so like undoubtedly queer. Like they didn't say innuendo. They actually like, and he faced queer struggles like coming out to his grandma, wishing he would have after she died. I felt like it was a really good show, and also it really kept it age appropriate.
I also loved his coming out to Jonah, where he's
just
like, no, he's
don't
just like,
that.
This is this food, this is this food, I'm gay.
It's disgusting. Don't eat the tuna fish.
I'm gay. It's so cute.
Wasn't it like right after his bar mitzvah, or was it no?
I don't remember. I haven't seen that show in forever. It was at the funeral
party after his grandma died. It was at the
funeral party. Yeah, it was. Oh, I love that.
In Jewish culture, you have funeral parties after someone dies, and you eat a lot.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We learned a lot about Jewish culture in AP Human Geography.
Huh, that's cool.
We had a whole unit on the religions and stuff and what's universalizing. We're sorry, off topic. I just found that interesting. Also, another cool thing about that show, not being related to being queer, but I am not Jewish, so I would not know. But from what I've studied in my school, they really got the Jewish representation down on that, from what I've seen.
I wonder if someone like higher up in the production team was Jewish and was able to give them insight.
Maybe, or maybe one of the actors was Jewish or something. I'm not sure.
Maybe. That's really cool. I'm glad they got it accurate. It's not a lot of Jewish
I'm saying this
representation.
as a non-Jewish person. To me, from what I've heard about and studied about being Jewish, it seemed accurate. But I am not Jewish. Take what I say with a huge lump of salt.
Okay. Valid. So is that all we got to say on that one?
On Andy Mack, yeah. On the category, no. I have a couple more good things.
I have the Riordan verse, which gonna talk about two book series in particular. Okay, so spoilers for Trials of Apollo, and Heroes of Olympus. Also not spoilers for Magnus Chase because I haven't read Magnus Chase. This is purely based on cosplay stuff and the few quotes I've read. So first I'm going to talk about Nico. I love him to death. He has a very tragic backstory. This kid has been through. Fun fact, you don't get to see my profile picture on Zoom because of the picture we put over it, but my profile picture does have Nico D'Angelo in it.
Get round picked.
Yes, my profile picture is Percy holding Nico while Will is kicking him in the face. Not Nico, Percy. I hope he doesn't kick his boyfriend a lot. So yes.
Abusive relationship.
So Nico's whole thing was like, oh, I'm in love with this guy I've known since I was 10 because he was like the first strong guy to save me. And then he's like, I don't like this guy. He's kind of an ass. I don't want to date him. And then at the end just goes up and is like, and Percy's like, hey, dude, sorry you have a crush on me. He's like, I don't anymore. Dude, you're not my type. So he's a badass. Love him. Probably my favorite queer character. Or one of, at least. I love him. There's also Will. He doesn't, being gay isn't
Will
the
Byers?
part of it. No, not. I already talked about him.
I didn't know if that's who you're talking about. I had my ears covered.
Yeah. So yes, Will is a very good bisexual. I headcanon him as bisexual. Some people headcanon him as gay. Because it's never said. I think he's a very good bisexual. I think most Apollo kids are bisexual, seeing as Apollo, next person I'm talking about, is bisexual. Topaz, you are going to find this great. You probably already know this. I don't know. Apollo has a kid with another guy. Her name is Kayla. We love her. Apollo was the one to give birth. Apollo has given birth.
Is Apollo intersex or trans?
No. The book kind of just went, don't question it. I'm a god, I can do what I want.
I'm questioning it.
It wasn't in the book. In the book, they did not say that he gave birth to Kayla. It was just, I'm a god, don't question it. Uncle Rick said that that he gave birth to Kayla.
I'm questioning.
Don't. All Apollo kids are gay. Apollo's gay. I'm an Apollo kid. Fun fact.
I don't know whose kid I am. I've not read Percy Jackson. I have the book. I bought the book. I'm gonna start it soon. But
I will have you take a test with me later.
Is the book or can I just take it?
I will have you take the test. I will ask you questions and then we will see. You give me, what vibes do you give me?
I'm Dionysus, I feel like, because I like the song about him. I'm feeling devious.
You should listen to the Lightning Thief soundtrack. You would love Dionysus in that too. I don't know what you guys would give me. Hypnos.
I don't know that guy.
God of Sleep, I believe.
I love Artemis.
Artemis doesn't have children.
I don't care. I'm her adopted child. I'm her
You can be a
illegitimate.
hunter. You can be a hunter of Artemis, but they are not her children. The hunters of Artemis are just a group of lesbians in the woods.
She had a child, or she adopted me.
No, you can be a hunter. It's her half of her thing is I don't want kids. So
My
I don't
head
want-
canon. My head canon. My story.
I don't
I'm
know.
kidding.
I don't like when people say they're children of her because that's a lot of her thing is she's a maiden and I feel like it takes away from her story to
If you're going off the original story, yeah, don't say you're a child of her because that's wrong. But if you're making your own kind of headcanon kind of thing, do whatever.
I don't know. In the context of the books, I don't like it. But
In the
anyways,
context, no, but just with Greek mythology, I love Greek mythology.
Yeah.
But text of the books, it's different if it's a large part of her character not wanting kids. But in the context of Greek mythology, did she not want kids or something? Because I don't remember that.
She's just a maiden. She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to do the deed. So she just doesn't.
Queen.
So I'm gonna keep talking about Trials of Apollo. I can't think of a single character in Trials of Apollo that is straight. That is in a straight relationship that was introduced in Trials of Apollo. I have thought about it intensely. I think every single character introduced that is in a relationship is queer or wants to be in a relationship is queer.
Okay.
So yes, lots of gay people. Also, one of the main characters in Heroes of Olympus was like later on was found out to be a lesbian. So that's fun because she's a child of Aphrodite. So originally it was like she had a boyfriend and stuff, but she was always like, I don't fit Aphrodite's image of what she wants her child to be. And then it turns out she's a lesbian, so kind of makes sense.
We stand.
So yes, love her. Love Piper. Piper's great.
Oh, what about Zeus? Am I a child of Zeus?
I hope not.
Is that bad being a child of Zeus?
Yes.
Good to
Zeus
know.
is the most horrible god to ever exist.
I mean, all the gods are kind of assholes from what you.
Did you know that I'm pretty sure 8 of the main 12 gods are children of Zeus and only one of them was with his wife? The rest of the 7 of them, he cheated on his wife to have them.
Zoom just put me in safe driving mode for no reason at all.
You need to drive safer.
I'm not driving.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. And I drive perfectly fine, Jim. 1, I drive perfectly fine. 2, I'm laying in my bed knitting while we do this.
Shouldn't be knitting while driving either.
I'm not driving.
Okay, we're continuing on.
I'm sitting in my bed.
So now continuing on with the Riordan verse, we have Magnus Chase. Magnus Chase is either bi or pan, depends on your headcanon, somewhere under the bi spectrum because his partner is gender fluid. Alex Fiera is a gender fluid character, so is Loki. Alex is a child with Loki. So yes, she is gender fluid. We love her. Magnus is very chill about it and it's hilarious because he's just kind of like, I've only been attracted to girls before, but Alex is a guy sometimes, so guess I'm not straight. Who knows? We love him. He's just kind of like, whatever.
Cool.
So that's it for Riordan verse. Do you have another piece of media to talk about?
Prom. It was funny and stereotypical, but they genuinely had a good relationship. Emma and Alyssa Green. I felt like they were both their own people and they were really cute together, and that was good representation.
They were very cute. I liked that. I liked the prom quite a bit. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, that was a very good musical. I got really excited when it was made into a movie because I was a big fan of it before it was made into a movie.
Yeah, I had known the soundtrack before it was made into a movie. I would not say I was a huge fan, but I liked it. The movie made me a bigger fan. But
I
I
really
like
loved it.
whatever Andrew Rannells is in.
Yeah, I love the prom. It was really cute. It was, I mean, the songs were kind of like really poppy and like mainstream, I feel like, but the lyrics weren't, and I really liked them.
Turn It Off, that song, it's not from the prom, but that is good queer representation. That was a good one.
Anything else to say about that?
I think I'm good. You got anything else?
Yes. Okay, my next one is Camp Cretaceous. So, for context, it is this is a children's show, very children's show. It's a cartoon, but I love it. It's about Jurassic World. So it takes place during Jurassic World, but like it's a show spinoff. So in the last season, our lesbians get together. It was hinted at like the whole time. It was like she was what are the characters' names? Shit. Sammy and what's her name? What's her name? I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name, but anyways, she was like a loner, and then Sammy's just kind of like, "Hey, you're my friend now." And then they got together finally. Like they were very cute. They at one point, one of the characters is even like, "Oh, you totally have a crush on her," to Sammy, and it was very cute. They got together in the last season. They were like all excited because Sammy was panicking? No. She was panicking about Sammy. And then Sammy was like all excited and they got together and they kept calling each other girlfriends and came up with secret codes to say how much they liked each other. It was so cute and all the other characters were like so good about it, which was I was just kind of it was very simple. It wasn't about being queer. It wasn't like a lot of stuff about being queer. It was just simple. It was just we're cute, we get together. And all the other characters was just like, oh, this is adorable. There was no homophobia, nothing. It was just simple, cute lesbians. And I loved it.
Nice.
It was very cute. They were so cute. I'm so glad they got together. In the end scene, she even goes over to Sammy's house to explore colleges and like meets her family. They're so cute. That's it for Camp Cretaceous for me. Did you have any other shows you wanted to talk about, or do I just keep going with mine?
I have a couple. What was I gonna say? My brain. You can tell how great it's working today, can't you? What was I gonna say? Ugh. Oh yeah. American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
It's good in the way queer characters are held to the same messed up standard the straight ones are. They're all toxic relationships. They all do awful things, queer and straight, and that's good representation in my opinion. The
But
gay
they're all awful?
yeah, they're all awful, and the gay characters were treated just like the straight characters. Their relationships were all handled awfully, and they're all toxic.
Valid.
But they're treated equally, and that's what matters.
Alrighty then. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it.
Major trigger warning if you ever want to watch it. Major trigger warning for every triggering concept out there.
Yep. My next one is The Umbrella Academy. Topaz here has never seen it, but is obsessed with Elliot Page.
Juno and the skater movie Elliot was in are some of my favorites. I love Elliot Page.
So yeah, so Victor, he was the creators of this show were just so good about Victor. Like Elliot came out as a lesbian first, and then they're like, Victor's a lesbian now. Then Elliot comes out as trans. Oh, Victor's a guy now. Like the creators were so good about accommodating him and not making him play the part of a woman, a straight woman. Which is great. We love Victor. Victor is such a good character. Victor's family was kind of just like so accepting about Victor. But they made it funny like the rest of the show because they take very serious situations and then they just add funniness to it. Like it Victor came out and what's his name? I don't remember. I don't like this guy. He's my least favorite. That's all I remember about him.
We stand.
He least favorite sibling guy. He learns about Victor transitioning like last and then goes up to his brother and is just like, should we throw Victor a party about this? And then they're just like, no, Victor doesn't need a party. And then they're like, hey Victor, he's trying to throw you a party. And Victor's like, don't throw me a party.
I would have wanted a party.
Victor is so freaking quiet. Victor does not want a party.
But cake.
Well, they had a wedding the same day.
Does he not like cake? Double cake. Who doesn't want double cake?
He does not want to be the center of attention. He was also
throw a party about something else.
So they are a family of 7 and only one of them is a girl after Victor transitions and stuff. Like only one of them is a girl. And his brother decided that he was gonna be the best man. Like at his wedding, he's like, I'm getting married. Can you be my best man? And Victor's like, heck yeah. So it was just cute. Like, oh my gosh, just turned into your brother is now your best man. Very cute.
That's nice.
It was really, really cute about it. And now we're going to talk about Klaus. Klaus is bisexual. Love him. He's my favorite character. He is probably the most messed up of all the kids. All of them are messed up. He's the most messed up. I love him. Most of like his jokes were about being with women, but then his only serious relationship was with a man. So he just kind of jokes about both. He's very flamboyant and like stereotypically gay, but at the same time is bisexual and likes women too. So
vibe.
Love him. He's my favorite character. Any other shows you want to talk about? I'm done with that one.
I'm just going down my Netflix watch list as we speak of this.
I have one more, but if
Owl House, obviously.
I need to watch it. I'm
not caught up on season 2, but it's really nice. One, I just loved how the relationship progressed. It was so natural, and I love how it's not a big deal thing. Like, it's a big deal to the characters, but they don't make it a big deal that it's a queer relationship. It's just a big deal that it's a relationship.
They're so cute. Oh, I haven't seen Owl House, but I need to.
I don't want to spoil much, so I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. My next one is Stranger Things. We're not spoiling the most recent season. You don't need to block your ears. Just talking about season 3. Very cute.
Robin. Robin.
She was very cute. I liked her coming out. Yeah. And Steve was pretty good about it. Now spoilers. Now you can cover your ears.
Again?
Yes, I talked about a different character. Now I'm talking about Robin.
La. Let me say I'm done speaking. Hold on.
So Steve was such a good ally in those. He was such a dad friend to Robin. I freaking loved it. They were so cute. He was such a good ally. Oh my god, the I love boobies. That scene. Oh my god. I also love all the TikToks about it. He's such a good mom friend and ally and best friend to her. Chef's kiss. They are so cute. Now I can get Topaz back. So I have two final questions for us. First one, what could be added to these good pieces of media to make them even better?
Honestly, I feel like some more trans representation could definitely be added, but
Yes,
I'm happy. Like,
for
I feel
sure.
like trans could be added, but my thing is they're already not making stereotypes out of people and including queer people in their art. I'm not one to try to be pushy with the story.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
scared if I recommend adding something, it'll be like messing with their artistic vision. They'll be pressured to add it. Like, just let the directors tell the story they want to tell without having to worry about adding this and adding that. As long as they're not doing anything super offensive, I try not to have existing shows be like tampered with. Like, say I want to add something to X show. For future shows, though, it's different. Obviously, for a future show, I would want more trans characters, more of this, more of that. But when a show's already existing, I don't like to say, I want this and this and this added, because I feel like it kind of stomps on the director's vision for the final seasons of a show, you know?
that's very true. Yeah, out of all these, only two of the characters were trans, so I definitely could see wanting more trans representation in the future, though, like with shows that haven't been made yet and stuff. Just kind of think about that for the future, because out of all of these characters, only two of them are trans.
Definitely need more trans representations in shows.
Yeah. Plus one of them, honestly, they didn't really have a choice. Like, the fandom would have been so mad if Victor wasn't trans. We weren't surprised that Victor.
Yeah,
if Victor wasn't trans after Elliot Page came out as trans, people would have been so mad.
It would have been understandable. You like, if the show would have been messed up. Well, it obviously wasn't, but I get if you sign on to be a character while identifying one way, I get why a director would not want to change it midway through. It's very nice they did, but I also understand not having wanted to. I wouldn't have been mad personally if it hadn't been.
I just feel like the fandom in general would have been mad. I don't even think Elliot would have been mad. I think the fandom would have been mad. But yeah,
didn't Elliot say he did not expect his character to be changed and he was totally fine with continue playing that character? I keep up with stuff. I love Elliot. I know a lot about Elliot Page.
I don't. I just watched the show. Any final thoughts real quick?
I am okay. I'm gonna let you take it over with the quotes.
Yeah, so I don't have a poem. I couldn't think of a poem, and someone else is usually in charge of those, so I usually just make one up on the spot when Charlie forgets. I just instead decided quotes from some of these characters would be funny. First I got one from Percy Jackson, which is, with great power comes a great need to take a nap. Wake me up later. We love Nico. He's a tired boy. Stan. And then we got from Heartstopper, a lot of gay people are good at sports, Charlie. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you can't play rugby. That was the rugby coach that said that. And then I have from the Umbrella Academy, I can't just call Dad in the afterlife and be like, Dad, could you just stop playing tennis with Hitler for a moment? As I was telling Topaz, I think before the podcast, Klaus is a funny character. We love him.
Dead dad jokes are my favorite. I've never even seen the show and I loved it just because of the dead dad joke. We stan.
Oh yes, there's lots of dead dad jokes. Not in the latest season though.
Boo, why not?
Spoilers. Anyways, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to watch the next episodes. Bye.
We have really big. The next episode is going to be really big with Charlie and all this.
I don't know if that's next one or if it's the one after. We'll see.
Well, be on the lookout for that episode. It's going to be awesome. Love ya, guys. Bye.